Thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Town of Fort Myers Beach Bay Oaks Recreational Campus Advisory Board, commonly known as BORCAB. We are located in the Town Hall Chambers on Oak Street. It is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025 at 12:04. Our meeting is now called to order. My name is Betty Simpson. Would you all please rise for the pledge to the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And at this time, we'll have, let's go around the room and give our names, please.
Michelle Cherney.
Ed Schoonover.
Barbara Hill.
Betty Simpson.
John Bisslier.
Neil Mathis.
And Jeff Hauge, and then we can vote to have.
Oh, yes.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion
Thank
to
you.
accept Joy Sullivan
So moved.
remotely.
Second.
Very good. Thank you. And we have acknowledged everybody. I know that Joy has an excused absence. She had,
But she's on
Yeah.
Zoom.
oh,
So we're
She's
we're
not
we're
even
vote-
absent.
I've
we're-
got a reaction over here. I couldn't see that one.
we're voting to allow her to do Zoom.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
And then Becky, she'll be here about 5 minutes, she said.
Oh, okay, and so she's on her way?
Yes.
Okay.
Joy, can we hear you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yep, we got
Excellent.
you. Excellent, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Very good. And we'll start with our town staff. Jeff?
I'll let Neil give the staff liaison report. I can only stay for a few minutes. I have to be downtown for the TDC workshop. So if we want to talk about maybe proceed out of order and talk about the beach accesses real quick,
Sure.
we can go that route, and then Neil can give the updates.
Can
That
I make
sounds
a
great.
motion to approve the minutes first?
Okay,
Second.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. And,
Did you need a second for the?
Oh, yeah,
John
second.
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 All right, second.
yeah,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Okay. That brings us to our staff liaison report. Jeff?
Yeah, if we could just go out of order a little bit and start with the items for discussion, the beach accesses. I would like to start with that, because then I have to peel out of here, so. I don't know where we wanna start with that.
Talk about
Okay.
the beach access. I'm
So right
excited.
now, kind
That's
of the
fine.
plan is we are starting to put them together kind of piece by piece. We started with the garbage cans for sure on the accesses, getting them ready. We haven't put a lot of the Moby mats down just because the trucks going up and down have been tearing them up. We do have them. When they are done with the beach renourishment, we will put them back to where they go. I'd say most of the beach accesses are open. We do have the signs and the posts that go in. We have found recently that some of the tall beach access signs that are out there on the road on Estero need repair. One we had to take down, 17 I believe, just because the welds on the bottom are getting kind of iffy, we'll say. So for public safety, we took that one down, and they're inspecting the rest of them. So we'll find out how many we need to order for the tall ones. But we do have the beach access signs, the smaller ones that are closer to the access, that we need to put up. We're waiting on an auger for the Bobcat to be able to do that a little quicker. And the trucks kind of going up and down them has put a little damper on us trying to put beautification on it too. So we do have some preliminary numbers on what it's going to take to put vegetation back there, but that will also have to go out for bid. So
Are you talking about the vegetation for all of the beachfront, once the beach renourishment is done, that next phase?
Yes, so
So
we're not
that-
talking about the berm, that's separate. The berm will be a separate line item. But this is the accesses with, you know, whatever, with sea grapes or whatever we wanna put.
Railroad vines?
Yeah, something on there, so.
Yeah.
We're not quite there yet, we're waiting for the renourishment to be kinda complete, and we'll just do it all at once.
Do they remove that black pipe ultimately? I mean, is that gonna be removed after beach
Yeah,
renourishment?
yes.
Or is that gonna be buried?
Nope, that'll be removed. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
all
just-
that will
That's
be
just bringing it in from the barge, and put more sand on it.
So are they still thinking like May, to remove, I mean, once that's done?
I believe so, yeah. I think May's the date, so. I know they're moving on
That's
it. I don't know, I'd have to get with Chad and see the exact numbers, the exact dates, but, that's kinda what the plan is right now for those. Once we get the dune planting in, then we can talk about, I talked to Chad, about putting possibly benches there. We
Mhm.
can't put any benches there without some kind of barrier right now, just because of, the turtle regulations. We can't put anything on there permanently, that they can get caught up in or whatnot, but, once the plantings go in and there's some kind of barrier there, then we can certainly look at putting benches in. I know that's been a contentious, topic in the past, was if we could put those in there or not, but I think he said if there's some vegetation in front of it, we certainly can.
It certainly would help.
Mhm.
I think especially, for those that are older, and they're walking on the beach and they need a rest and
No,
the beach
I agree, that's why
accesses.
we asked. I know in the past, I know that our beach guys, you know, before I came along, they were kinda told no a lot, just because there was no vegetation in front of it, but now that we have the berm, and we're gonna be putting vegetation on it, we'll be able to. So that goes for anything like bike racks, we'll put back out there once that gets there. We can't put anything there except for like the trash cans or anything.
And my understanding that TTC no longer covers benches or bike racks,
That is
so
correct.
how do these benches and bike racks get funded?
We will, actually, we have a good number of our donor, memorial benches that we could put there. We have a lot of people that still have asks in for it. We're kinda running out of places to put them. We've had so many asks. So we've had to be creative, so we're kinda putting that on hold and asking if that's maybe where they wanna put it, once we get the okay, so, those could be, you know, one option to pay for those would be through memorial benches. Bike racks, we do have some money through FEMA, emergency fund, because we lost a number of them. Otherwise, we'll just have to fund those through our general fund.
Okay.
Jeff, can I just ask, the vegetation around the benches, that would just go around the sides and the back, correct?
Correct, yep,
Okay, cause in the front, it'll obviously get trampled on.
yes.
And I did watch I believe it was Murph meeting recently where, Chad stated that, and I hope I'm remembering this correctly, beach renourishment would be complete by May 1st, turtle season,
Yep.
and they have until the 31st for planting.
That could be, I don't know the exact, but that sounds about right.
Would that include at the?
That's just for the berm,
Okay,
yep, that'd be just, his goes from the berm and the sand, ours would be beach accesses itself.
it's a separate issue. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, let the record show that Becky has now joined
I'm
us.
sorry for being late, that is not my
That's
style
fine.
at all.
That's okay, thank you.
I was
To be
talking,
here.
so I didn't really, nothing
Oh,
mattered.
Okay.
I do not like being late, I'm very
Yeah.
sorry.
And then since we're talking about accesses, I know this is more of a cell cab thing, but beach access 17A is open. There is parking there. There's about 8 spots, and the restrooms are available to the public. The restroom trailer's there, and all hooked up, and people have been using it. So it will be paid parking eventually. We ordered the signs. We go back to paid parking how it was before, but just another access with some parking and some restrooms.
How many spaces, 17, did you say?
Right now it's 8.
Oh, just
Until we
8?
do the whole redevelopment, then there'll be,
Okay.
I think it's in the 20s.
Oh, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah,
okay,
it's,
so 8 for now.
8 for now, yeah.
Good.
Will there be signage that goes up that lets the public know that that beach is available?
The beach access?
No, the Newton Park.
That is Newton Park, right? That's what I was asking. That's the same.
I don't think it, I
Well,
don't think there's.
We haven't talked about signage, but we put the word out.
Right, but that's mostly for beach residents that kind of we
Yeah,
know, that,
yeah.
but I'm wondering for the
Yeah, I don't think we
general
have one at
public.
Palm either to sign. But we could put public restrooms or public parking.
I would think that would be a
on
requirement,
the-
because it came from TDC
On
funding.
on our sign, it does say parking. So on the tall one, it does have a parking sign on it.
Okay,
So that access does allow parking. But I can put public restroom. We did put the TDC logo on it and our logo,
okay,
so.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
we marked it appropriately as far as TDC
Okay.
regulations.
okay, good.
But,
I would think that would have been a requirement by TDC to be recognized for that,
Yes, we do have, we have a sticker with our dual logo, and
Okay.
it's on it right in the front.
okay.
Yeah, and then, I guess I'll just say it quick, since I have a few seconds. We're starting beach walks too, real soon, so I think June 1st, we're starting beach walks for anybody that, for all of you that are listening, I should say. So that's exciting, we can put our beach walks back. That's run, through the Mound House, but I just wanted to mention that.
Who's
Alright.
going to be conducting the beach walks?
Adam and I just talked about this morning. I don't know if he gave a specific name, but I'm sure probably Franklin or Ashley probably, I would think.
Okay, would volunteers, I
Yes.
remember Gail
Yep.
did such a great job in
Yeah.
the past,
Yeah.
and I know
Mhm.
it's something she
Yeah, we haven't done them in
loved.
a long time, so
I
we're
know.
excited to get back to them. So yeah,
Good.
anything like that we may miss, for sure, we'll talk to Adam about.
Great.
Anything else about beach accesses, I guess?
How many total is BORCAB responsible for when it comes to beach accesses?
Oh,
Well,
All beach
CELCAB is
access.
responsible for at least one, is that correct?
No, they're responsible for the park, but the accesses are all ours.
Okay, and how many
So-
total are there?
How many that are open right now?
Well-
23 maybe?
23 out of how many?
31?
31?
Yeah, because Strandview's kind of open, but it's not, as officially. There's a couple that are, there's none down south that we have. But that number might have went up, I'd have to check. Because we've opened up a number of them since.
I think the ones on the south are generally private for HOAs or.
Yeah, because it
condos.
goes into the CWA out there, so we don't have
Yeah.
any public access really.
So the ones that are closed, like I know 15 in particular, it's at Sterling. So it used to have a little bridge and obviously a lot of vegetation and all that. It doesn't have that anymore since the storm. But there are the garbage cans and recycling cans. So is that considered open if they're?
Yeah, if they're
cleaned
not, like I know,
It's
I
not
can't remember
blocked
which
off.
one. If it's not blocked off, it's open.
So they would be blocked off if they were closed.
Trying to get back to it.
Where is 17A? Is that Newton or no? Not.
That's Newton, yep.
It is Newton.
Kind of by public sale.
Mhm. Very good.
All right,
Anything else?
unless you guys all have
You covered it all.
something, I have to split. Do you guys have any more questions for me?
It was
Top of
good
your
hanging
head?
out with
Huh?
you. It's good hanging out with
Nice
you.
seeing you, man. Like I said, Neil gave the staff report. As far as the CDBGR, we're still in review. We haven't gotten much back from them. We still have weekly meetings, but it's still in review with the county and HUD. Once we get that finalized, we got the notice that documentation is good through the county, and that we can start procuring after we get the HUD funding, or after HUD reviews. So we're at least through the county process, which is great. And then we can start talking about the pool and everything. Bay Oaks, we're putting out two bids now. One being the groundwork to get it ready, and then the other one is to do the actual work with the grass and the pickleball courts. Once we get those back, we'll be able to determine how many pickleball courts we can put in. We have to do 4, so we want to do as many as 8 if we can fit it in the budget. But we'll just have to see. Everything's going up, so we're gonna try our best to fit what we can in.
Is there a timeline when it'll go back out for bid?
It's getting in the paper, I think, this week, and then we have to wait a week, and then it'll go for bid.
do have a quick question for you. Did you find that check with Danielle?
No, I asked our finance and Sherry and no idea.
So it's just,
Unless it was in our safe and our and everything in there was pretty much disintegrated.
Danielle would know, right?
I didn't ask her. She's
She
fine.
didn't.
I didn't ask her.
Oh, I
asked
can see if
finance.
Jesse can ask her. I know we
Okay.
haven't talked about it before. Alright.
So no, we don't have them sitting here, it's not around anywhere in our safes. Yeah. Anything else?
Anything else? Any other
Unless you have anything
questions
for me.
for?
Please be nice to Neil, this is gonna be his first one he runs, so,
Will be nice to
um,
meet Neil.
he obviously,
I'm like the
you know,
other
he's
Jeff.
caught up to speed on a lot of things, but not everything, so, he's gonna do his best and put it on the agenda for next time.
Okay,
Thank you, Jeff.
So, yeah, thanks guys.
thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get some TDC funds.
Yeah.
Good luck at your meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, Neil?
All right, so staff report. Okay. So just want to talk about the Bay Oaks Rec Center. We have a lot of progress going on over there. So the grinding of the floors inside started last week, and then they also installed 2 new commercial HVAC air handler units outside on 7-foot aluminum frames, so they're raised up off the ground. So those were installed last week. This week, the vapor barrier and paint prep work started inside. Vapor barrier is just like once they grind everything down, any like cracks or where like vapors could potentially come through, they seal that off. So that started this week. Next week, the electrical work will start in there. And then the following week, that should be like the last week of April, they're going to do like the actual epoxy painting, and then they'll come in and put in like all the toilets, like reinstall the plumbing fixtures, all the lighting fixtures. The desks will go in probably that week as well for the check-in area. So we're still on pace to, you know, hopefully we're looking like end of May we'll be ready to open. We ordered new vinyl fencing, some of that white vinyl fencing you kind of see where the ball field kind of ends and goes along back towards the rec center. We ordered some new fencing. We're gonna kind of continue that around as you go around the playground, the street that wraps around like towards the back of the rec center. We also ordered new light bollards that will replace where you see those wooden blue lights that are no longer working. We bought new light bollards, so there's 7 lights that those will be installed. Our staff is gonna like do all the actual cement work to get them ready for the electrical company to come out, and they can just basically hook up the electrical and install the lights. So that should hopefully happen. Just got the PO done, so that should happen hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Just have to get that scheduled. We put some new pickleball nets out. We had a lot of the nets that were pretty badly rusted, so we installed some new nets out on both courts. Haven't got the pickleball lines painted on the first tennis courts, but finally got the correct proposal back from Zephyr Courts, which is the company we're using. That's the company that actually resurfaced the tennis courts. So they do good work. They're just really backed up right now. So, but we got the proposal, and we're hoping next week or the week after that we can actually have them come out. It's going to be a 2-day process, and we're going to try to have them come out afternoons, so it doesn't interfere with the morning play, because it's a lot busier over there in the mornings. It has slowed down a little bit, just as, you know, season's kind of toward the end, but just so we don't have, you
So
know,
they're gonna
any
paint,
issues.
we're gonna go back to 4 courts on the one tennis court?
Yeah.
They're gonna paint?
Yep.
Are you gonna is there gonna be anything between the tennis court and the pickleball courts? Any type, cause right now they just use the old pickleball nets? So are they gonna be putting anything between them?
Oh, like a barrier. We haven't talked about that. We haven't discussed that. I mean, I know eventually the basketball court will be, you know, re-fenced, and that's something that we want to do. But I haven't begun that process
Okay.
of getting bids and quotes.
I know, like at Ruttenberg Park, I don't know if you've been out there, just at the tennis courts, and they have like a retractable chain link fence. They go in
Oh.
between the 3, there's like 3 or, I think there's 4 tennis courts.
Okay.
And in between each one, it's just a retractable, it's got wheels,
Hmm.
and so it comes to the middle, so it's
Okay.
like from both sides. Anyway, you just pull it out and it separates, so if they're doing lessons and stuff, it's
Okay.
not going off into.
So it kind of condenses down. It actually, when you say retractable.
So like if there's like the 4 courts here,
Okay.
and then it like accordions on the sides here, and so
Okay.
you just pull it
Gotcha.
across.
Okay.
Oh.
And then so
Okay.
that way it blocks each court, so that way
Okay.
people aren't into the next court.
Okay.
I don't know if
I'm
that
gonna
would-
have to check that out because I drive by there. So.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's on
Okay.
their outdoor courts at Ruttenberg.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. We also put up, you might have noticed, in case of emergency signs, we had a few injuries out on the courts, so we didn't have any like signage out there. So it's just basically states in case of emergency, call 911, and it gives the address for Bay Oaks Park on the signs. Obviously, once we get back in the rec center, we're gonna have staff there, so be a lot more of a presence, but just kind of helpful. So there's 3 on the courts, and then there's also 3 signs on the ball field that we put out like that.
Good.
Let's see. And then our new strength and cardio fitness equipment, we selected a company, and basically we're just filling out the last bit of paperwork, so I hope to have the equipment ordered, if not this week, by next week. So we're anticipating that we should be able to get all the equipment in by the time we open. We're also trying to stay ahead of all these tariffs because most of this equipment is made in China, or at least a good portion of it. So most of the companies are telling us, after the end of May, like you
Wow.
can see prices go up like as much as 25%. So
For you to have to consider that, I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that, good point.
we put in new partitions in the men's and women's bathrooms there at the ball field, so those are in. And then we had talked about the last meeting about just looking at what it would cost in the event we have a storm approaching to move the equipment out of Bay Oaks. And it would be, I talked to one company, basically with 2 trucks, because it would take 2 trucks, because you really don't want to take that stuff apart just because of the warranty. You kind of got to keep everything intact with the equipment. So it would take 2 trucks, 4 workers. Cost would be, and this is to take it off-site to their location that's not in a flood zone. And then for basically 1 day or 2 days. So you're looking at anywhere from like 5,500 if it's 1 day to 6,000 if it's 2 days. And that's to, load it on the trucks, take it to their site, and then also bring it back, unload it, bring it back in.
6,000 for the 2
Yeah, it's
truck
basically
round trip.
$500 a day in their storage, and that includes
That's
like,
actually very reasonable.
yeah, when you're
considering
talking
the
about
cost of
$60,000 to
equipment.
$70,000 worth of equipment, I think it's, it's definitely.
What is the company that you're using?
I think it was, gosh.
Do you use 2 men in a truck?
No, two men in
men
a
in a
truck,
truck.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, was it?
I did it. That's what I did
Oh.
for the hurricane.
Yeah, so you're looking at like 500 a day to keep it there at their facility, but it's insurance. If anything were to happen to it, everything's covered. So definitely something to think about.
Does
Going
moving it
forward.
off-site and then bringing it back, does that void the warranty of the equipment by any means?
It should, and it's definitely something that we would reach out, to the vendor to make sure. I haven't had that conversation, but
I'm just
that-
curious for the calibration of things
Right.
and how that does. But I mean, I
Right.
think to your point, where we're at $6,000,
Yes.
having to replace the entire thing is
That's,
Yeah.
seems easier, and then we're not having to move it ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't know.
and
So
there's
Neil,
gonna
this
be
is
4
going,
guys
when,
and 2
when,
trucks.
can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
So when do you anticipate putting, since hurricane season's coming up, do you anticipate putting that in the actual preparation plan, or what, thinking about is kind of a little vague.
No, well, I mean, it's an option. I mean, it's not. We could put it in the plan. I wanted to just research it for this meeting and give you guys price tag. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody agrees it's a good idea, and we've had 2 sets of equipment between Ian and Milton, both ruined. We did. I wasn't here, obviously. I think they did raise the equipment for both storms. Unfortunately, even with Milton, a lot of the bottoms got,
I don't think
still
they
got
did.
water.
I don't
Did
think
they not
did.
raise it for you?
I don't think so. I don't think there was a way
No.
to raise them.
Okay.
I mean, Ian
Um,
was a lot.
Yeah, well, they got, I mean, yeah, there was 11 feet of water in there, but, you know, I think it's definitely something that we should put into the plan. So, moving forward, we can definitely, you know, talk to Jeff, but yeah, I think it's definitely like, and I mean, it's, you know, it's something that we have to monitor, I guess, you know, with these storms, you're looking at them a week out, so, this is something that, you know, we can call them and have them, if it's part of a plan that the company knows, okay, like during hurricane season, you have to provide us 2 trucks, and we have to let them know within so much of a time frame that we wanna move them, and, you know, with the storm approaching.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because the ones like Milton didn't come here, you know, and like, I don't know, I don't remember, did they get any damage with Helene? Is there water in Phoenix at all?
I think there was some,
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
I think it was.
I think
more
Which
there
went
was
to the
too.
Big Bend, like it wasn't
Right,
even closed,
right.
you know, and it's still affecting us, so like,
Right.
then there's, somebody has to make that judgment call of,
Yeah.
it's just going in the Gulf somewhere else, but you still have to.
Yeah, and I mean,
that.
you know, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, because you know these things, you know, in a 4-hour window, it can change everything.
That's
So
exactly
you make your
right.
best
It's a
judgment.
gamble.
You bet.
Yeah,
obviously.
it is.
So you do it like 6 times, then you're spending 6 times, like that.
For nothing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so then you have to figure
Exactly.
out, like, we'll do it if this, like, you have to make the parameters,
Yeah,
I don't know how you do
certainly.
those parameters.
What about all the office equipment and computers and all of that in terms of an emergency plan?
Sure. I think ideally is to put them up in the top concession room, get them, you know, off the ground level. So again, it's storage issue. We, you know, don't have a lot of great areas to get all those items high enough, but yeah, certainly the computers and the more expensive items would be the first things that would go in there, and then, you know, desks we can break down somewhat. We'll probably also get that stuff in there as well.
If we wanted that plan, you maybe don't know this, Neil, but did we get a break on our insurance policy? Because I think we were led to believe that the cost of the equipment, this time anyway, was covered by insurance.
No, that's correct.
So if we went through the trouble to move it 6 times, possibly, in the summertime, we could get a break on insurance for that.
We can look
Good
into
point.
that.
And there's a disaster recovery plan.
Yeah, having it in our plan and having an agreement with
Right.
the company. Everybody's getting better at evacing,
Mhm.
Yes.
so everybody's
Yeah.
gonna be using these companies, so if we can,
You bet.
if we have an agreement, then we're a
Yeah.
priority.
Well, the other thing I did it personally, is by getting all of that out of there, whether they get 2 inches or 2 feet, now that those floors are epoxy coated, these guys can get in there, dry it, mitigate it. When you have all that equipment in
Yeah.
there and you try to clean around it, you don't get,
Right.
you
Can't,
can't
yeah.
clean it.
Yeah, everything can.
So
be
they get
faster.
it out, and then they can get in there, dry the facility back out and pop it back in, and you're back within 10 days after you get all the moisture out. We're back up and operational, cause now that they've got the floors fixed.
So then it is a question of, you said 1 to 2 days, 2 days makes way more sense, in my opinion. But also, if it's gonna take 10 days to dry it all out, is there an option to just extend the storage part of it?
Well, I understand.
I know it's
Right,
not
they're
10 days
not-
set in stone, but it's gonna be more than one.
Right, I
It-
mean, they're
it
not
is.
gonna say, okay,
Yeah.
it's been 2 days, you gotta get it out,
Yeah.
but yeah,
It
maybe
might
there's
take 3 or 4
and maybe there's a.
But they may be able to bring it back in and just put it in the middle of the gym floor. They might not be able to get into the smaller rooms, because wherever your smaller rooms contained are harder to dry. So the bigger room, it's gonna be all epoxy coated, so they literally can clean the middle of the gym and put all the equipment back there and then move it back into the gym later on. But by getting it out, they won't have any rust issues, won't have to worry about any mold getting underneath the equipment. They'll be able to just clean it out and pop it back in. Was kinda, it works. And you're right, it's all of a sudden, it's gonna be, when they start saying we have a town emergency, you pull the trigger and you
Right.
move.
With some experience.
Can we go back on the bathrooms? Can we do a follow-up that they do need to be cleaned?
The
Okay.
So,
Thank you,
Nobody's
Becky.
cleaning them,
sorry.
but thank you for the stalls. It is so nice that we can use more than one person in them.
Alright, and then also, we're working on getting a few more estimates for the bridge repair, like as you walk over, that's bridge right there, to the rec center that was damaged by, I guess, Sunbelt, Rental had a piece of equipment that damaged it, so, we've gotten 2 estimates, I'm waiting on 1 more, so hopefully we'll have that repaired. I'm pretty hopeful that, it should be repaired by the time we open, so.
But it's on their nickel.
It is,
Okay,
correct,
great,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Gets your attention.
I wanted to talk just a little bit about our Easter event last Saturday. We had our family of Easter event on
Nice
April
job.
12th. Yeah, it was really, really fun event. We had 86 children register
Wow.
for it and probably about 200 in attendance
Nice.
overall. We did 3 different age groups. So we had egg hunts for each age group. We had like 6,000 eggs per group, so we had like 18,000 eggs.
2,000 per group.
Was it 2,000?
2,000 per
Okay,
group.
maybe it's
With
6,000
flight.
overall.
Wow.
Okay. And then we had special like larger golden eggs that if the children found one of those eggs, they turned it in at the registration table for a special prize. We had complimentary refreshments. We did cinnamon rolls from Moms.
Wow.
The mayor and his wife came out for the Easter bunny and the carrot.
Oh.
So that was great. We had 3 inflatables. We had like a big obstacle course, kind of like a globe the kids could go inside of, and then a smaller little like castle bounce house for the youngest kids. Just a great turnout, and then just a lot of volunteer help to run all the bounce houses to make sure all the kids were safe and monitored. Help with getting all the eggs spread out, helping, making sure the kids didn't run into the egg hunts before we started them. We had a face painter, and then we had the Fort Myers Beach Kids Foundation and the Murph Foundations. They came out and set up community tents, did some free informational packets, and then also they did some raffles. They donated prizes. The Chamber of Commerce and the Women's Club also donated towards the event. And I can't say enough about how great a job our staff did, and then just all the foundations that came out really made this event go, because you can't do it like that without a lot of help. So, but yeah, the staff just did a phenomenal job. So,
Who was in charge of that event among your staff members?
Erin was in charge of that. She's our
Okay,
she's our
yes,
aquatic
Erin.
supervisor. Yeah, and she had a lot of help from all the staff. So I don't want to just say it was one person. It was a team effort. But she really took charge of just all the permitting. The fire department, just
Got the
the
volunteers
special events
organized.
committee, they got all the
Wow,
volunteers
huge.
together, all the foundations,
Skylar
ordering all
did
the
a great
eggs,
job.
and coming up with a timeline. So we had to, stay on point with when we started all the egg hunts and everything. So yeah, she did a great job with all that.
If I could say something, there's a couple things that I noticed that were different this year. My kids are 9 and 12.
Okay.
So we're there. Out of the bounce houses, the one that y'all had for like the toddlers, I thought that was fabulous.
Right.
Because I think those kids really get lost with the bigger kids in the bounce houses,
Yeah.
and it slows things down. That everybody's getting frustrated.
Sure.
The kids are getting trampled on. I thought that was a great idea. And then also when y'all had the where it was taped off for the 9 to 13-year-olds in
Mhm.
their egg hunt, and then afterwards they did the sack races and the egg
Right,
and
we did some
spoons.
field events.
That was fabulous.
Yep.
Like the kids loved it. It was great to keep them going because usually when they're done, like they're
That's
done.
it, and then everybody leaves, and so yeah, we really
Yes.
tried to announce it a few times, hey, stay with us. We've got some fun events coming up, and we got the bounce houses. When
Yeah.
people were, it's a little chaotic when they're arriving because they're trying to get signed in, and we're trying to grab them and say, hey, you got to, so we can keep track of everything. And so the cinnamon rolls didn't go really quickly in the beginning, but then, as I was coming back to the table towards the end, everything was gone. So I was like, all right, awesome.
I
But
thought
yeah,
it was fabulous. Y'all did a great job.
great, thank you.
Can we, 2 things on the events, it was like so much normalcy and great, Skylar did a great job, we got all the volunteers, but 2 things, one is, are you, back to the opening of Bay Oaks, are we gonna do an open house? And second of all, that was so nice for the kids to have that for Easter, can we get a Halloween event and Christmas, at least on an agenda, because I
Usually
just-
they do the Halloween
Yeah,
event.
we
Yeah,
definitely
there's
do a
always-
Halloween
yeah.
event.
Usually the week before.
And yeah, so that's definitely in the works, planning that. And then
Open house
as far
for
as the grand
Bears?
opening, we're kind of waiting on a date right now. So that's definitely something we want to do. I mean, you know, we may do like a soft opening, and then once, you know, because we're gonna have to, you know, figure out, okay, just getting like some groups together for that, because we want to make it special, and then just, you know, rolling out our programs and just having our staff there to, you know, take registrations and just talk about all the programming that's going to be available and the fitness and everything. So, you know, if we don't get our equipment like right when we're ready to open, our summer programs start June 9th. So, you know, we've opened up registrations for that, and we're anticipating being in there for our summer programming. So, you know, obviously our pickleball players are going to want to move in and start coming in to do pickleball as it gets hotter. So that's you know, a big one of our, you know, main points. And then also just, you know, our different fitness classes. We've got our spin classes, our yoga classes, so getting those started up right away. But yeah, we definitely want to make it like a big grand opening and make it a big
Right.
event. And as we get a better idea of like the, you know, opening date, you know, we'll go from there. It's just hard to say, okay, we're going to do an opening and not have a date yet.
No,
so.
I was
Yeah.
envisioning more of like a planning process is happening and then a date will be picked at a, you know, at
Right,
a later
right,
date.
Right.
Can I ask a question, Neil?
Sure.
So are you considering giving, people that purchased, you know, a membership because it's been closed for so long, like
Right.
thinking about extending that membership for the next year or the number of months that, you know,
Yeah,
you were out of
definitely,
pocket?
and that's like through the civic rec program that we use. So that's something that I have to get with the staff, but we definitely would like to prorate anybody that paid for a membership that, you know, had additional months still left on their membership when we had to close. So we can, yeah, I think that's something we absolutely want to do. We don't want to make somebody that paid for a 6-month membership and only got like 2 months have to, and you know, sign up and pay the full rate. You know, work with people on that. It's you know, a little bit of research, but we can definitely go in Civic Rack and figure out all those dates. And,
I just think you need to think about it before you open up because people
Right.
will want to know.
right, for sure. No, it's something we've discussed. You know, so I think it's just the staff going through, and we've got to just go through that system and get all the names and look at the dates and come up with a spreadsheet, and we'll reach out before we open and you know, see what they want to do. Hopefully everybody's still in the area, and you know, but regardless, we want to prorate those memberships.
What are the ages for the youth programs, the summer programs?
Oh gosh.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay.
I think it started at 5.
I want to say 5 is, and then I don't know if it goes up to, I don't know if it goes up to the teen to 13, but I can find out and get that for you next meeting. But there's 2 groups, so it's like the younger kids and then the older group. Just to kind of keep you up to date with the programs we are running right now. Our STEM program, it started on March 25th. It's been running on Tuesdays. This kind of session goes through the 22nd. It's just different activities each Tuesday centered around science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We had 10 spots open. We had 9 registrations for that, so it's been really successful. Skylar's been running it. She's been doing a great job. We've been posting the pictures from that on our Facebook page, but just really, I've enjoyed looking at all the different activities that the kids are doing. Yeah, it's a great program, so we definitely want to keep that going. We also have Easter Fun Days that are coming up. There's this Friday, April 18th, and then the Monday, April 21st, because the kids are out of school those 2 days. They're doing some field trips on both of those days. We have 8 kids signed up for that, so that's going well. And then we are hiring a senior rec coordinator position that's going to be kind of overseeing the BOSS program. So
Kind of what Danielle used to do, right? Danielle,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, she was kind of in charge of that program, so that position will oversee the BOSS program, and then we're also hiring, 2 30-hour, rec aides that'll be like year-round positions. That'll just kind of help with all our programming, especially with our summer camp programming, we need those additional positions. We'll probably hire a couple part-time positions as well, just to kind of help with that, so. That's everything that I have. Do you have any questions on anything?
Very thorough, thank you,
Okay.
Neil.
Great
Thank you.
update.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that brings us to item 8, items for discussion, the beach accesses,
Yeah,
which
we've
we've
already
pretty
done
well
that.
done. I think we've already covered that.
Jeff did that one earlier.
Mm-hmm. So if there is anything else, we'll move on to member items and reports. So, do you want to start, Michelle, or?
I have two. One is I found another park potential for the south end. We're looking at the pocket parks. I know that Ed
Oh, yes.
submitted one and we were talking about 2 different properties, so I'll pass that down.
Good.
This one actually backs up to the property that Bay Oaks, or Bay Beach owns back in there. So that's another property. And then the second thing is I submitted 2 applicants for the Friends of Bay Oaks. I found 2 more. One which is actually my secretary for my HOA, which I know they'll need a secretary, so, but they, I'm gonna submit those in again.
I would think they would need somebody to take minutes and all that.
Yeah, and one that's, good on the financial end and is very active and wants to see this thrive. So I've got 2, and I think John's gonna talk when he gets down there about his.
Who did we say was gonna contact them? Jeff, right?
Yeah, I think, you could submit those to Jeff and I, but yeah, he can.
I submitted them to Jeff already, and that's why I
Okay.
talked to you. I'm gonna
Okay.
give them to you also, because
Okay.
I don't think there's been any movement on that, but I know that we need to get that rolling, because we've gotta get the position set that, is it Jason that left?
Jesse.
Jesse that left, so I know we kinda gotta get that rolling, so.
Fantastic, thank you. That's awesome.
That's all I have. Oh, I do have one more that didn't end up in the minutes last time. There was supposed to be a follow-up that we were going to contact the president or principal over at the school to try to get access into that park back there for children.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so we did, I emailed, his name is, I think it's Adam Malloy. He's the director of planning for the Lee County School District. And they were actually out here a few weeks ago to tour the elementary school. And so Jeff actually talked to him in person, and I know that he was looking at it to see, what they could either do, if it was still a current, agreement in place, or not, to actually try to, do a renewed agreement, so it's in the works, I know that.
Okay,
It's in the
great.
works, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that. I was gonna ask that also.
You bet. All right, you're up.
Question for Neil. Once the epoxy, and we've been told this before, so I apologize, I forget, is applied, what is the cure time for that before people can actually walk on it?
It is a lengthy cure period. I know they told us it could be like 2 to 3 weeks, so,
Okay.
and just, we wanna allow as much time as they tell us they need, so it's, gonna have a good bond. They are gonna bring it up, and I think Jeff might have mentioned that before, but it's not just gonna go right to where the wall starts, it's gonna come up about 3 inches, because you have, just where the block kinda meets the concrete, you have some gaps, and, and the vapor barrier's also been applied there, so just to kinda, in the event that water gets in, I think we'll have a really solid floor to where it's, hopefully the water's not gonna be able to penetrate and get underneath.
The building is climate controlled though, correct?
Yes,
So that should help with cure time,
yeah.
I would think. And then the only other thing was, last meeting we talked about pocket parks and potential locations. And, we mentioned that the mayor had talked about some right-of-way areas. And I know, John, you were gonna send an email to, did you hear anything back?
I got a response.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I know.
We'll wait for it.
That'll be your member item.
That's all I really had, other than, I just wanna keep it going, in our meetings about these pocket parks, because I think they'd be very valuable to the residents here, and also the visitors, when they're visiting us. And, I mean, every car that's off the road, if you can stay on the south end and find a park to use for yourself there, and don't have to run all the way down here, I see that as a positive. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara?
Actually, I just want to thank both Michelle and Ed for being proactive and looking at these pocket park opportunities. I'd like to get this on the agenda item for next month if we possibly can, because I know this was a council initiative, and we want to let council know that as BORCAB members, we are working on it, and we now have 2 properties for them to consider. So, thank you, Michelle, for that second piece of property, and I'd really like to have council be very aggressive in getting those pocket parks a reality. So, that's all I have for my member item.
Barbara, just to add on to your point, did someone say why Karen wasn't here today?
I think they're interviewing, manager candidates, aren't they? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know.
And nobody
She's
said,
on-
you're right.
yeah.
I
She's
didn't
on
know
the-
either.
She's on the HR, and I believe they're interviewing for the town.
Manager?
Oh, yeah, surely that takes priority. I just was curious, since it's the second meeting in a row that we haven't had town council representation, and, to your point, if we want the town council to take this as a priority, it seems to me that maybe we need a substitute when they're doing whatever they're doing. I think Karen has a legitimate reason for not being there, but is there someone else that can be a part of our meeting?
Well, how about if I just do a we can just do a follow-up with Karen and let her know that this group has decided it's a priority.
Well, and there's
That's a
always.
great idea.
And there's always the opportunity for any BORCAB board member to give a status report publicly at a council meeting to address council at large, which Ed did recently, but I do think that's worthy of someone being appointed by you, Betty, to
Okay.
do that, to keep this sort of front and center in the council's mind.
You bet. Okay. I'll move on.
My turn? Okay. I sent off the check to renew Friends of Bay Oaks on April 2nd, so that's done. So we can keep moving from there about Friends of Bay Oaks.
That's your whole report.
Yeah, that's all I
Okay.
got.
That's it?
Mine are, I wanna spin as positive as I can, but, and you get a clean slate, so there's no arrows coming at you, Neil, I promise.
Right, 'cause you're new kid on the
but-
block,
but
you haven't
we-
done
I-
anything wrong yet.
In getting these names to whomever can facilitate, the Friends of Bay Oaks, because it really, everything goes down to dollars. Anything that we ask for to enhance the town costs money, and if it's not available in a budget, which it is not available in a budget for new things, it's gonna have to come from somewhere, and then we have professional grant writers helping us with grant things. But the quote, little things that we would love to see happen, we're gonna have to generate the funds ourselves, and, I can't press the importance enough, because we're entering our 3rd month with names submitted and no action yet, so if we can get that going,
We really need
I'll
a
resubmit to
treasurer.
you.
There's
Yeah.
checks getting lost.
Yeah,
Thousands of
yeah.
dollars.
And without that group together, it's not a group that anybody should be giving any money to yet. So we have to get these
Right.
people together. So
Okay.
I won't beat that up. Next month I'll beat it up. And then, just in a follow-through, I sent a very, a very easy, hey, what's up with, you know, we heard that, there could be the availability of some space for whether it's, you know, guys know my soapbox, that additional exercise equipment along,
That's okay.
along Estero, and I know that that's a county thing, so it gets even more complicated. And Mayor Allers responded right away, but I mean the response was very honest, like you would expect. And it's to priorities, it's to dollars, and it's to we're working on so many things. And with that, and with you know, obviously that's very near and dear to me, the potential pool project that's coming. My report is less of a report, it may be a request that sooner than later we have a workshop meeting where we come armed with our ideas on paper, and we, you know, get a big center table and a bunch of maps of what we're responsible for, and maybe give the town our feedback coming out of a meeting like that, because we're repeating a lot of things, and this group is so necessary. But maybe instead of having to have it be a big town project, we are an advisory board, so let's figure out what we're advising, get it on paper, and then we can prioritize what we press for. At the same time, hopefully the Friends forms, and these two bodies can start working together.
I think that's a great idea.
But I mean, it's just, I think it's action time for us as a group.
And this
Because-
funds has gotta go first, I agree.
Yeah, we can't do anything without money, so the Friends
Yeah.
is such a priority for us.
Can we be proactive, because Neil's probably in the same boat, I think this is only my fourth meeting. Somebody was gonna get from Jesse, or was it I'm gonna say a Barb, who had the actual, original documents that were written up.
That
Like
was
incorporation
the
and
charter.
bylaws.
Yeah,
Denise Moynihan.
Denise.
Right,
Yeah.
and she was the president of the Friends many, many years ago. And she offered to be of assistance to the new Friends group to
But can we
provide-
get those copies of whatever we have for this? Again, the candidates I had are like, I mean, I
Yeah.
could tell in this little box, but if we had those documents, we could all, you know, maybe be a little bit more aggressive in finding other folks, cause we don't really have a lot of history
Yeah.
of what the role is.
The history,
Do,
yeah.
who's
That would
got,
be
who's
important.
got connection with Denise?
I am,
I
and
am.
but I cannot give it to you, I couldn't give it to Becky, I'll have to give it to Jeff, and I had
Oh,
already.
yeah.
I had said to Jeff, you know, give me a call and I'll give you all the information, but I haven't, you know,
Yeah, and
so
Yeah.
it's
I
up
think we-
to
we-
staff
if-
to
I don't-
call me.
Cause obviously we can't task staff with anything, that's not our role.
Yeah.
But we need help in this very first little mountain so that we can run.
You bet.
So, you know, we're kinda leaning on whomever that falls on. We asked Jeff, and we know where it's coming. So we're politely, you know, saying if we can get all of this data and all of this documentation and everything, and the names to you, if it could be, you know, if, you know, whatever can be spent on it. And one-on-one, one of us can help you, but
Yeah.
we can't
And-
get
and
together.
Right, exactly.
And you're out of town a lot, John, but I am here, so please, just call me,
Yes.
and I can, you know, work with you, and I know Denise, she lives here on the island, and, maybe, the three of us, cause she's obviously not a BORCAB member, we can meet, maybe at your office, and she'll provide whatever she can.
Yeah,
Happy to,
and-
I'm
and-
happy to help with that.
Administrative and phone call tasks, I mean, I just need a bullet list and I can run with it.
Okay.
I need 24 hours notice and you get a 24-hour deadline of it being done, so.
Because any of the groups that we belong to, the Friends are the ones that really get the work done. And they know the contacts, and they're able to do it a little bit easier than we're able to as this group.
Yeah.
So that would be very helpful, and then you've got the names too.
Mhm.
So that would be perfect. Okay.
But I think once that gets rolling, and I love John's idea about having a meeting, an extra meeting, I would say, where you just get a list of, everything we're responsible for and throw our ideas out there. But I still would like, I mean, a little bit of time if we're gonna have extra meetings so I can schedule around them.
Sure.
I know on another committee I ran into a problem where they scheduled some extra meetings and I already had plans and, I mean, I didn't volunteer to serve on a committee and without the intentions of being there, you know, every time, so.
Very good.
Yeah, and my request for that is obviously selfish is, you know, does one of our regular meetings, is it preceded a couple of hours before?
Sure.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
can we give a block of
Mhm.
time? And then
Absolutely.
we can have our BORCAB meeting just after. I mean, it all probably
Right.
needs to happen in the public anyway.
Right.
Sure.
So we could do it all in one room in one day. And
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm
That
sure,
sounds like a plan.
I'm sure lunch will be donated. I'll
Yeah.
get that done, so. It'll be
I'm
easy.
with you.
Joy, what have you got for
Yes.
us?
So, tonight, the FMB Community Foundation is voting on approval of our giving for this fiscal year. And we have allotted some funds to Bay Oaks to replace Halloween decoration and materials, as well as, if there's anything left over, going towards a foosball or kind of a multi-use play table. And this is the third year in a row that the Community Foundation has given a significant amount to Bay Oaks. So even though we do not have friends right now, there are others in the community that have found some money to give to Bay Oaks, and I'm happy to be a part of that group.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered an awful lot, and I think we keep kind of going back to the pocket parks that we had mentioned briefly before, and I see a lot more emphasis in that right now. And a workshop meeting that was mentioned, I don't know if that is something that we can zero in on at this time, or if we're just a little early
Not
on
until we
that.
get the committee
Yeah,
formed.
I think
We
we're
need the
just a little
committee
bit,
formed.
a little bit early.
Pardon?
I think
We-
we're, go
We
ahead,
need
Michelle.
we need the committee to be
Yeah.
formed, I think, first.
The Friends of Bay Oaks, yeah.
Okay,
And the Friends of Bay Oaks will have to be organized, and they have to do that themselves. And we, as BORCAB members, cannot be board members, but we're really looking forward to being part of a Friends membership so that we can participate, but we can't lead the organization.
no, not at all.
As
But I
we are
think-
painfully aware.
But I
We've
think
done
once
that.
that's formed, and John's idea is just fantastic, because, I mean, it give, everybody here brings something different to the table,
Mhm.
and we can really do some brainstorming and hopefully
Right.
get some things done,
You bet.
yeah. It's a
Well,
tough period
and-
right now with funding and,
You wouldn't have all of the parameters that you've got to go through in a meeting like this.
Mhm.
Sure.
I mean,
And that's not our role.
no, so that would be very good. All right. Well, I think that we've got a couple of ideas on the agenda that we want at our next meeting.
Neil, can you really push to make sure that these candidates we have that wanna get on that are talked to this month?
Sure.
I just don't wanna lose them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we've got them all excited and they're like sitting there waiting,
You bet.
and I don't like responding like this.
Yeah,
You don't wanna have
Yeah,
to
not
say
responding
another
right
month,
away.
another month.
I just don't wanna
Yeah.
lose them.
volunteers
Yeah,
begged for
exactly.
are tough to keep,
Yes.
let alone excited volunteers.
Thank you. Well stated.
well, I think even an email to let them know that, I mean, we're kind of in a transition period here with Neil just joining and whatnot, so, I mean, it's fair to give staff some time to, I'm sure he is absorbing a lot at this time.
Yeah.
Like it or not, this is why we love you're here, so.
But that's a great point, Ed. I mean, if it's acceptable, you have two candidates?
Yeah.
I have two. If somebody from the town could just say, we're acknowledging and we thank you, we're gonna get back to you regarding the next step forward on the
Just
Friends of Bay Oaks.
something.
Oh, that would
Just
be
something
great.
that they've been
Yeah.
acknowledged by the town.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you got some guidelines there. Okay, Joy, I didn't mean to leave you out on any of this. Have you got anything further?
No, nothing more.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if I had skipped over you or not. All right, and so we have some agenda items that we're thinking on, and I sure like the workshop meeting.
I think by the time we meet again,
It's a little looser, and
yeah, we might have a better idea when to start that.
yeah.
We're getting into the summer months already, so,
Oh yes,
I know most committees take July off,
yeah.
but,
And a lot of people that are saying, "Well, I'll see you later in the fall."
right, yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
so
I
we
think
do have
then,
people that
I
are
think
like
that could be
us.
in our agenda for the next meeting, is to try and set a date, maybe, and a better outline of what the workshop would be about, and,
Yeah, and a stretch goal of doing it in June,
yeah.
Yeah.
Where that would be.
you know. Cause if we
Right.
have put it off, we put it off 2 months.
Right,
By then,
Yeah, the next meeting would be.
if like pool and those things are moving
you
monetarily,
got a
Right.
calendar.
we miss the
May
boat
21st.
again.
yep, I agree with you.
May.
Yeah. Okay. May's
21.
21st.
Okay, it looks like our next meeting would be May 21st.
Can't we have that as a standing, schedule, that our meetings are on
The
a
third
certain
Wednesday.
date,
It's supposed to be
once
the
a
third
month?
Wednesday.
Third Wednesday.
Third
Third
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
right, so can we just put that in as the, on the, agenda for each month? Put date specific? Unless there's a change, so that we've got it then written down.
I think most committees do that,
Yeah.
but there's just, there's that, a lot of times, we have to make sure we have a quorum.
Yes,
So
oh yes.
if people are out of town and everything,
Mhm.
then it's good to talk month to month, if the date needs to maybe wiggle a little bit, but,
Sure.
And then tentatively, I mean, as an ideal goal, the 18th of June would be the next meeting. If we can just
So
as
if
a body
everybody
try to block
everybody
more
can hold
time.
their calendars open from 10 to 1:30,
Yeah.
just in case.
in June,
Good idea.
That'd be the June
Yeah,
18th.
June is the 18th,
Mhm.
and that gives
Do y'all need everybody? I'll be out of town.
potential friends,
I don't mind.
potential
Yeah.
friends.
No.
see, and that's why I think we should talk about it at the next meeting, so we
So-
can get everybody here, even if
Right, yeah.
it's more than one day, I know that,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'll be there, so don't worry about me.
okay.
Okay.
I'm coming to that one.
But
Okay.
I think Becky needs to be here, so we'll find a
Yeah,
date that
you
works
need to
for
be
all
here.
of us. Are you gone the whole month?
Yeah.
Ah,
So, I mean, I could catch up.
Well, we could
Alright.
also do
I
something.
don't want y'all to like not do it because I'll be out of
No,
town.
no,
'cause we're
I
supposed
think
to
we
be
could
gone
do
the whole
something later in May, I mean, we
Sure.
can talk about it and figure something out.
month. I just want to be best for everybody, you know, not just working around my schedule.
Okay. Well, otherwise, our next meeting would be May 21st. And
At noon, correct?
Correct.
in the following June 18th. So if we give people a little warning in advance, maybe they'll, I mean, we've all got calendars, but
Yeah.
just to have it in front of us, I think it's a little bit more helpful. So,
Great.
all right, is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up? If not,
Welcome. Thank you. Again.
great job.
I would, all right,
Are you looking for adjournment?
okay.
Chair.
Neil, did you have anything at all? Okay, all right. Well, I think I've covered everybody then, and I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so moved.
I will second.
Second.
Okay,
Good job.
Barbara,
So did you have July?
and thank you.
General.
So we are adjourned at 1:08.